this session is being recorded for posterity's sake. I hope that everyone will have a good time. For those of you who are going to watch this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel that I guess people are actually watching these. You know, who the heck wants to watch a 2 hours of teachers talking about all their problems? Well, apparently a lot of people do. So I appreciate the people who are going to watch this video after the fact. And to those of you who are attending, thank you for being here. I know this is a big, huge, stressful time, and I hope that this session could be something that you could use to de-stress and kind of talk about the different things that are going on in our lives around the country. I wasn't expecting a huge turnout on this one because, we are all pressed for time. School people are already back in school. Some people are getting ready for students next week, and we got a whole slew of things going on all around the country. So first thing, this is our 6th meeting. We're real, we're raw, we're relevant. It's basically teachers talking about other teachers. So the last thing I want to do is hear myself talk for more than what's necessary. I'm just going to be the moderator here and chime in when necessary. This particular session is going to be focused on back to school. We want to listen and learn. So there's a number of you who already have been in school and with students for a while. So we want to hear your horror stories or your wonderful stories. But also on top of that, for those of you who haven't gone into school yet, we want to hear what your plans are, and then we can kind of have a discussion around that from those who are already in school. We'll call them the veterans for right now. Room rules. So basically, icebreaker question: what and where you teach, so we can kind of know where you're from, and what is the most difficult program you had to learn over the summer? So you guys probably have been going through a ton of PD on different platforms, on Blackboard, Canvas, Google, and the desire to learn, and probably you want to rip your hair out like I do. My hair's getting pretty long. You're also going to see my quarantine beard. I think I've kind of had enough of it. I haven't shaved or trimmed since we went into lockdown in mid-March. So this is everything I could ever produce in about 5 months. That's all I did for the past 5 months. Okay, so when I stop sharing the screen, we will use gallery view. So there's 2 different views in Zoom. If you haven't noticed, if you view gallery view, it'll create the Brady Bunch-like effect. Turn on your cameras. We want to see your smiling faces because we don't get enough face-to-face with each other enough. If your mic is, if you don't have a lot of background noise, leave your mic open so you can chime in when necessary. If you have any questions while someone's speaking, type it in chat so that we can address it accordingly. If you're looking for a certificate of participation, please ask me. I can provide one for an hour or 2, depending on how long this conversation lasts. And please, no requests to download KP Compass. That's shared for other things. So so when we started, this was just a quick little gathering of educators around the country, and turned out the first episode that we did back in May was a breath of fresh air. So we call it the Phantom Menace because we didn't know what COVID was going to bring. So we spent a lot of time talking about fundraising and engaging the community. Then we started building into community partnerships in the 2nd episode. And the 3rd one, we figured out how to build relationships from a distance by utilizing surveys and Myers-Briggs and video games and learning about the WHOOP method. So any of these you can go back and listen to. I promise you'll love the conversations that happened from it, even though it's from back then. It's still relevant now. Episode 4, going back to school challenges, where we talked more about the different things about relating with Myers-Briggs and video games, and also cooking from home, what kind of trials that we have to have with that. And then the 5th one, which we had 3 weeks ago, is we took a week off to catch up to everything. We're building a community of teachers as we're moving online. So I don't know about you, but I've been pretty busy. I know everyone else has been really busy. Well, here at KP, we're helping hundreds of teachers get online, so that's what we are great at. So it's been a good 3 weeks. So today's topics, we're going to talk about the great Bitmoji movement that started from here about 2 months ago. So I'd like to have Mike give us an update on that and some of the cool things that we're doing in the next few months to expand that movement. Bitmoji it is a lot of fun for the students and creates engagement, and best part, it's free. So you can't argue against that. We're going to talk a little about current events. The schools opening up and closing again, and opening back up again, and walking back, and all these yo-yo effect of what's going on, leading to a lot of uncertainty. For those of you who have already started school, we want to hear from you about some of the challenges you've had with your situation, with your students, with your administration, with cooking, with your opening up your kitchens if it's possible. So all those different things. And for those of you who haven't, share your plans on where you're going to start. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what the future holds. So with that being said, we're going to move on to Mike Erickson here, who I'd like to get an update about the great Bitmoji movement here started off with sorry, that's the results of the roundtable, which I was going to share about all the cool things. Here's the Bitmoji page that was started just a little over 2 months ago, and now over 2.3 thousand members and growing. And a lot of great inspirational ideas have come from it. Teachers have created some awesome stuff. So Mike, take it away. After you unmute yourself. There we go.
In this group, and it's only been 30 days now.
It feels like it's been a long time when we started it. I don't know, time's flying.
Well, basically where we're at is Janine Torres, who a lot of you know, and is also doing the sanitation site and does a lot of great stuff. We've revamped it to where we now have a Google Drive, and it is killer. It's completely organized based on curriculum and content, and it's password protected now because we had
Hey, what's up? What kind of see? What's this?
You haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff out there about people cheating on Google Forms tests and hacks and stuff. So we were getting people hacking into some of the sheets, so we changed it to a password protected, and only teachers can access it and get resources. We're building that, and
that's the problem about getting big.
Yeah, Bitmoji, the main site just hit 500,000 teachers across the country, so it's not a trend anymore. There are teachers all over the country that are incorporating it into all kinds of content and curriculum, and it's relevant for online, but in the future, a lot of teachers are doing interactive notebooks or HyperDocs or Canvas or Schoology. There's a lot of ways that you can implement it. And it's just been some great collaboration. We've got a good group, core group, and thanks, Nye, for giving us some technical details and helping us with stuff. But it's there to help people. We didn't think it was going to grow as big as it did, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. And now it's taken on a life of its own. So just be patient if you sign up, because we can only put 90 people in a day, and we've got 2,000 already. So every day we're adding 90 people to the drive so they can get in and look around and check it out and see what they think. So
I can automate that process. But in any case, yeah, I mean, this is such a great thing, because it was an idea that we started, and we're like, hey, let's just start making some Bitmojis, and then everyone came on board. And the best part is, after you get into it, it's really easy to do, and the amp factor is like, for the amount of effort you put into this, it just amps it up a lot. So that's the best part about it, and kids totally relate to it, so that's the best part. I know that there are probably a lot of people who've already in this already, but for those of you who aren't, it's a Facebook group. Join it. I'll put that Facebook group in chat here, so that if you are interested in checking it out, please do. So that's the great Bitmoji movement that's really picking up steam, and now with tons of free resources for you to jazz up your classroom with cute little animations that really don't require much work. Everyone does one subject, then rather than one person doing 100 different topics, we have one person doing 100 people doing one topic, or we have 200 people, one topic each, or even 2 people doing one topic, and we just keep getting better and better. So I just want to kind of update people on that, because that was something that was a great idea that came out here. Other ones that came out of here, which I won't spend any time, is a document that has shared ideas of teachers. So I'll post that in chat so you can check it out. and also the ability to share Google Forms. Teachers have created forms to give students, and why recreate the wheel? Just copy someone else's form that they've already done. So I'll share those two things in chat as well. But the primary focus of our conversation today is on the current events. So as you know, a lot of schools who opened up, like in Georgia, I want to say with Mississippi and other states, and Florida, have already had to go back into lockdown or quarantine because, you know, a lot of kids tested positive, and social distancing and those things. So those things are really shaking up our ability to educate. So I want to hear from you, like, for those of you who've already been in the battlefield, working with students in the classroom or doing virtual, how has your experience been? And anybody want to raise their hand? I'm going to stop the share so we can see everyone in the good old Brady Bunch fashion. There we go.
I'll say something.
All right, Shirley Blanchard, please share.
The virtual classroom is a complete nightmare. With the kids with the kids not having to turn their cameras on. All I see, one of our teachers said, I know a great way to figure out how to know our kids when we finally come back. He's going to give them a black construction paper and a colored circle, and they can put their initial in front and hold it up in front of their face. That's how we're going to know who they are. So, yeah, good times.
Oh gosh.
But it has been fun trying to figure out something. I was asking my kids, my intro kids, my introduction to family consumer sciences kids, how many of you do this? And I was like, by show of hands, oh, I can't see your hands. Let me rethink. So it's just been one little thing like that after the other. So anyways, that's it.
Yeah, so I guess that's an administration thing that they're not allowed you're not allowed to see them now, right?
Well, in California, the kids have the option where they do not have to have their camera on. We as teachers, we have to have ours on the whole time, but they don't have to turn theirs on. So I have seen one kid, but all the rest, I don't see any of them because they don't want to turn their cameras on or their mics on, and I have no way to control either one. So, because Google, our Google Suite's not at that point yet.
How are you taking attendance then?
Taking attendance by who's logged in. And then here's the fishy part. And I don't know if anybody else is from California in here, but here's the fishy part. If I call home and talk to mom, dad, or the kid, attendance will count. So it doesn't matter if they log in or not. If I talk to them on the phone, I can mark them here. I was like, that sounds really shady, but whatever. We're gonna just do what we have to do.
All I have to say is, wow, what a major roadblock to actual education. I mean, who the heck thought of that policy was totally talking to too many lawyers.
Well, there is a logistic reason in case the kid is homeless, or if the kid has a background that they're like, it's really shabby or whatever. They don't want people to see. I get that. But there's plenty of kids out there who have backgrounds that is not a problem, and they still refuse to turn their cameras on.
Yeah, and we definitely sympathize with that. Yeah. But
we're supposed to use those backgrounds like we have, Nye has, and I have. We're supposed to have the kids use those so that we can't really see what's going on. That's the way they're supposed to.
Yet.
Oh yeah, Google doesn't have that.
Google doesn't have it yet. So, and our kids, Zoom is blocked on their Chromebooks, so we can't. And
you can't do backgrounds from Chromebooks in Zoom. So if they're on Chromebooks, they can't do it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either.
Depends on the hardware. Actually, there's a certain Chromebooks that can, I think. But anyway,
probably not ours. Ours are cheap.
Probably not. Yeah. So, and they can't even just put up a curtain or a poster. Yeah, but that's just one of the nightmares that I guess, when we went into lockdown, no one really worried about that yet. But now everyone had 3 months to worry about that. Too many lawyers in the mix, I guess. But I totally understand the inequity thing with homeless. But those kids should have special disposition that the other kids should not. So we're playing to the lowest denominator too much, in my opinion.
Yes.
So
I
Shirley,
agree.
I really feel for you, and I guess I saw 3 other hands that said they were from California as well, or not. Yeah. So were you guys similar situations? Laith and Murray, I think I saw. Yeah, you need a mute.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. So what I did as an alternative for, so I did, since a lot of my students, high school students, don't like to turn their camera on, is I did an activity where I did an assignment where, since we're in a face mask world right now, I did an assignment. Send me a picture of you with a face mask and one without your face mask, so I can put a face with your name, and they seem comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I guess that's a good idea actually, and Chef Tremolo agrees.
So, I have a question. I just found out from my district today that we're not supposed to cut. We're not supposed to. There will be absolutely no cutting in our assignments at home. We're on virtual. We're on virtual until December, through December, but there will be no cutting in culinary arts. Well, I can grate, I can tear, I can chop with a chopper, I don't even know how many ways I'm going to have to go around this, but there will be no cutting. I haven't even dealt with this. I just found this out at noon today.
Oh my gosh.
They're on
So
drugs.
my district, they have to have the food handler's card to be able to cook at home, and then they have to sign a wet signature from the parents, like the athletic release.
Right.
That the school's not liable if they're injured, and that's our workaround. So if we have those 2 things, then we can do cooking with the kids at home. We have the option to opt in or opt out, I guess. But we can't. So we have to have an alternative assignment. If we make it an assignment, we have to have a non-cooking alternative for those kids that we don't have a signature for.
Well, I'm going to listen to them slightly. I mean, the kids are going to be taking food and manipulating it into shapes that aren't the whole. So I don't know. I'm going to buy those like things that make cut in vegetables. That's not a knife. It's like you make a rickrack piece of potato kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not going to get stuck doing this. I will get past this. They cannot do this to me. There's 4 culinary teachers in our district, and they told us today no cutting. So we'll see.
Wow. Well, I guess I look forward. I guess I look forward to hearing what you've done in 2 weeks. So in our next meeting. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, I just by the way, I muted the 570 number that called in. That was the background noise we were hearing. So I muted you. So if you're gonna try to call, you need to hit a button to unmute because of that. Anyway, so wow, that's some things that we really never anticipated. We knew that there was going to be some ideas about not cooking, but that's kind of, yeah. How can we do that?
Have you guys seen these?
What is that?
They're plastic chef knives. I got them for my granddaughter to use, but it's amazing how well they cut considering they're plastic. But I have 3 different ones.
Where did you source those?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I don't remember. It says
Amazon.
no.
Yep.
It says
Amazon
Star
has
Pack.
them.
So I would check. It says Star Pack, but they're 3 different sizes. And like I said, she's 9 years old now, but I bought them for about 2 years ago, so that she could practice her skills, and she does really well with them. And they're safe, so. But they came in a set of 3, so it might be something if you guys have money. Our school district doesn't have the money, but.
See, we're 3 weeks into school, and they just set up a PO for me finally because they had frozen all funding. So it took like an act of Congress to get my Cal card turned back on, and small things that they didn't think about.
I just found those, Lisa, I just Googled it. Walmart has them, and I just put the link into chat.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jeff.
$21.95. They're out of stock right now for ordering online, but you might be able to find them at your local but there's a link there. But at least that's what you're looking for.
So
Thanks.
to create equity in my program, I just want to say that we have funding and we are going to hold ingredient giveaways 3 times a month. The students will be able to roll up in a car into the front circle, and we'll have the bags to hand out to create equity, so everybody would have that. I have 2 students that have no cooking facilities, so they're doing raw things with raw raw recipes. I don't know, trying. It's more work than I've ever done, and I worked for 22 years in industry, and this is my 22nd year of teaching, and I've never worked this hard. Okay.
Also, we were given the directive, no protein in our boxes, no meat can be sent home. So it's another thing to consider.
Yep.
Wow. So I heard that like if you can't give away protein, but you're allowed to tell them to source their own protein to take the liability out. Anybody address that?
I just have students that can't afford it. I'm a Title I school.
Yeah, I know.
Beyond beef, ground beef, a case of that. So it's not meat. It's not protein or animal source protein. So that's what my workaround that I'm doing, beyond meat.
That's the solution right there. Wow. I mean, well, you know, these were the things that we were fearful and anticipating going back to school. So thanks for sharing. So I'm going to read a few comments here, since for those of you who are watching this video, you can't see the comment stream. So, you know, so just to kind of go a little introductions here, we got Scott, who actually just spoke. He's teaching in Sacramento. Marie is teaching in Windsor, California. Lisa says the most difficult thing that she's learned is learning many different things at once. So, Chef Dramoguli, I'm sorry if I completely butchered your name. You teach San Antonio. Oh, excuse me. Brian Soderger, well, actually it's Sandra, but you're logging in under Brian there. You're in Florida, so and things like that. And Mark says his most difficult thing appears to be that you only have kids 2 days per week, and each school that sends their own schedule, so they can end up teaching the same lesson 3 days a week. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if I read that correctly, but anybody else have something to say? Hey, Mark.
You want to hear about that?
Yeah, please.
So we have like 19 schools that send to us, and my program has right now about 6 or 7 different of those schools that send. And some schools send their kids Monday and Wednesday. Some send them on Tuesday and Friday. Some send them on Tuesday and Thursday. So it's my eyes are spinning in my head trying to figure out how I'm going to deliver. You know, like they split my classes in half. So if I had 12 kids, now I only have 6 on day 1 and 6 on day 2. So you know, I could, and then all the schools don't send on the same days. So I can't really make sense of it. So I'm just kind of waiting. The first set of kids come on the 14th, and you know, I'll teach who shows up, and then the next day I'll teach the same thing again to a different group of kids. But I'm planning to give them a week of lessons remotely for a full week, and then they're responsible for watching the videos, doing the worksheets, doing whatever it is that I assign for them for the week outside of class, because they don't want us to spend time in the classroom doing lectures and stuff. So all of the lecture type stuff should be done online, and then we come in, recap, and go in the kitchen and space out and do what we're going to do, you know, with a proper spacing in the kitchen. So hopefully they'll do the work.
Yeah.
You know, at home, it totally like flips the classroom over onto the kids. Like, you know, they can't just show up and expect me to explain it all to them anymore.
Well, I mean, the flipped classroom concept has been around for a bit, but now it's being brought to the forefront. But it's actually a much better way to educate students anyway.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. But
Yeah. So you're up in Maine, so you guys have it pretty well handled there, right?
yeah, there's not much cases, not many cases
Yeah.
happening up here. It's pretty quiet, but people are still, there's more friction around people not wearing masks and wearing masks than there is about people being sick.
Mm-hmm.
Although we did recently have a wedding up in the northern part of the state that was virtually untouched. So if you went to the northern part of the state, like nobody was wearing masks and everybody just kind of figured it was happening somewhere else until there was a wedding and people came from all over and man, everything just exploded. Like the people that hosted the wedding, the event center is being fined and all kinds of stuff is coming out of that. It's been a real nightmare for them. But
so the minute you let your guard down, bam, it hits you.
yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. But
yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, Mark. It definitely sounds like a very interesting situation that I'm sure some of you can relate to. So let's see here. I'm just looking through the comments here really quick. Anybody else have anything you'd like to share? So Mike Erickson's from Burnet, Texas. He teaches Culinary 1 and Advanced in Hospitality. And well, this person who doesn't have a name is from Haynesville, Georgia. And Canvas was the most difficult thing to learn and how to teach without seeing faces with Google Meet. So you may want to raise a hand and share there. Okay, Howard, I see that your hand has been raised for a while. So yeah, you wanted to chime in?
Yeah, no problem. I was just, I put it up when Shirley was talking. In Google, we do Google G Suites in our school. And I did find an attendance piece that I could put into there. So once I start the Google Hangout or the Meet, it pops up and anybody that logs in, it keeps an automatic record and it'll automatically download it into HTML or CVS file. So I just click on save. It pops up into an Excel sheet. I put it into a file for attendance. I give them their instructions. Then I go back to my attendance program, open up the spreadsheet, and I enter my attendance. So we've been virtual this is our 6th week being virtual. And they decided to go with a different program. It's working okay, but we're having the same problems. I put out my syllabus and I put out my online etiquette and said that you have to have your camera on and your mic muted while you're in class. It worked for one day and now virtually nobody turns their camera on. If I have 1 or 2 kids with their camera on, I'm lucky. Even they usually turn it off about halfway through. So there's no real way to enforce it. You can't make them do it. The district hasn't come out with any policy, but they mentioned some of the same issues that you guys mentioned as some of the kids may not even be in a home. They may be living in their car. I mean, they showed that on the news last night. They found 2 little girls, 8, 9 years old, outside a Taco Bell using their Wi-Fi to do their homework out on the curb. So you don't know what their situation is. And I even had a student today in class, didn't want to share in class, but then sent me an email and said their mother won't let them close the door. The parents are arguing. Her brothers and sisters are too loud and she can't hear. So there's all kinds of issues that they've got to deal with, and it's just a day by day. But the positive point is going into the 6th week, I had 3 classes that I had 100% attendance, and all the other teachers are complaining they're not getting kids just to even show up. So I can't really say exactly why they're coming to my class, but they are.
Well, that's definitely good, and that's, I guess, one of the biggest challenges with them is like so with your fortune, you can spend more time mentoring them because more touch points we have will really provide an extension to their mental health as well. So
yeah. Well, that for my first week, they didn't have me loaded in the program that they decided to use, so I had no curriculum at all when we first started our first week. So I was doing PowerPoints from my cookbook, and I did professionalism. So my first week and a half or so, I hammered on professionalism, what it means to be professional, to show up on time, to do what you say you're going to do. Make a plan. Then I put out some posted stuff in my Google Classroom, like nobody plans to fail. You only fail to have a plan to get it done. So I've been reinforcing that, and I keep bringing that back. Like today, I have to post grades tomorrow by 3:30, and I had 8 kids in one class that hadn't done any work in the digital program that we have. So, well, what kind of plan is that? We talked about professionalism, so how are you going to get this done? So I just keep reinforcing the stuff and coming back to it and keeping with professional for CTE for working in the work environment and making them get ready for real world for jobs and getting paid. So
Yeah, that's basically all we can do. So thanks for sharing that, Howard. And yeah, sorry you couldn't get the program you wanted. Definitely a lot of work you have to do. So Chef okay, how do you pronounce your name? Sorry, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, my name is Eric Drumgool. I'm from Sydney Lanier High School in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's because you wrote down Canvas and with three exclamation points. So
oh my God, that was the hardest thing that I'm not very tech savvy or anything like that, but last year when the whole COVID broke out, it was Google Classroom, and that was like a whole beast on its own for me. And then our district decided to do away with that after I was getting real comfortable with it. And the Ed puzzle and all those other things I'm reading in the chat, they decided to do away with that and bring in this Canvas, which is actually used in our community colleges here in San Antonio. But then they changed the gradebook system on us too. And so we're trying to learn Zooming and all that good stuff. I mean, it's challenging. It keeps me on my toes and my coworkers, but it's frustrating all in its own. We have students coming next week, but we're only bringing in 5%. So I teach intro culinary and advanced culinary, and I'll have at least maybe 5 students per class, and we're strictly doing computer based, recapping safety and sanitation, and then just going through the basics before we start doing anything with food and for our students.
Wow, I mean, so that sounds like a total nightmare. Going from one platform to change to another, and then all those changes. Like you're not IT people, so it's not. Yeah, I have no words for that. So thanks for sharing that. Programming Flipgrid is another comment that I got here. Let's see here. Rachel Hall from Banks, Texas. Google applications in the paperless classroom was probably the most difficult thing she had to learn. And then, so I see you popped in here, Rachel. You want to say something? Oh, you're muted.
Okay.
There we go.
Now, let's see. Yes, we've been in school now for 11 days, and really for the first week, I just concentrated on getting them familiar with Google Classroom because I knew that we were going to be on a Google platform. And then the second week, I concentrated on FCCLA as far as promoting it. And by the end of the week, they were all doing a Power of One project that had to do with a better you. So I took it from a perspective of personal improvement and what can I do for the beginning of this school year. And then this week we've been concentrating more on surf safe and basic sanitation and foodborne illness. And again, behind the scenes, really making sure that they could sign up on Google. And I had them do a test on Google and completed that test successfully for myself. So every day it's been something different. We are a school that meets 95% of our students are on campus. It's face-to-face. It's Monday through Friday. Football games are going on. It's kind of like as close to normal as possible that we can. Of course, we're all masked. We've had now 3 teachers that have had COVID. We've had some students, so the health department is pretty much on top of us right now. And so anyway, I can say I've got 3-week grades in, and my goal was to make sure everybody could sign on and really just get them on board. So we've had students switch between face-to-face and online. So anyway, that's where we are.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of challenges there. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody have a similar situation?
Yeah, obviously I'm similar because I'm in Texas too. We had our first football game, and I hopefully will be in the kitchen next Tuesday, but we're doing remote and hybrid. So I've had kids switch back and forth, and just started KP Compass last week, and it seems to be working really well using the Bitmoji virtual classroom, and they all go to that. And we use Google as well, but knock on wood, we've had 3 cases in our county, and it's been at 3 different places, one at the elementary school and one somewhere else, but seems to be working so far. We actually were in the kitchen today cleaning, and I've got my largest class is 14 kids, so I have to have 7 kids go in the dining room doors and 7 kids go in the kitchen doors. I've assigned them hand washing sinks all over that they have their own 2 people per station, and hopefully next Tuesday we're going to start cooking. And ironically, I just got asked to do or not myself personally, but with a group of people for 20,000 veterans that are coming back from the Middle East to Fort Hood, and it's going to be a big welcome home. And I'm waiting to see if my school district is going to approve it or not. I'm going to do it no matter what, but trying to get some kids to go out there because feeding 20,000 people is a lot of volunteers.
That's awesome.
So that's a lot of work.
Okay, is anyone using Teams?
Using what? Teams? Oh.
Teams.
Microsoft Teams?
Yep. Because we're not doing Zoom. They cut Zoom, and we're doing all of our meetings through Microsoft now, their video. And I'm anxious to see how that is. It has little rooms you can go in and split off and do your own thing.
Yeah, so there aren't as many people using Teams as Zoom. I mean, Zoom just gained popularity quite a bit, and their price point was really great too.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I know about Teams, is that they implemented a ton of features that Zoom had. They didn't have it before, and they implemented like in the past couple months. So Teams actually does have virtual background now and have like the breakout rooms and a lot of things. They just copied Zoom basically.
Yeah, I was already using Teams. Not all the teachers were, but this year they want everybody on the same platform. So we're all using Teams for the kids to go to. And so all of our videos and everything have to be from there. So I think it'll be good. I think it's good that everything's in one place, but.
Yeah, that does help that you have a central file repository, applications, and enterprise solutions and all that. But yeah, not very many. I want to say like maybe one out of 10 would be using Teams. Then it's Zoom, and then it's Hangouts. So Hangouts definitely has the most limitations because it doesn't support virtual backgrounds, breakout rooms, a bunch of other things. Anyway, anybody here use Teams? Those who are on the phone or not on video right now?
Yes, we used it in our district in Salem, Oregon. We used Teams last year, but we're switching to Zoom this year. I use both for my job, so it's an easy transition for me. But for teachers who are transitioning and learning it, I created some different documents. So if anyone's in that same position, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I can send you some documents I created. So yeah, we're switching, and then same, we used to use Google Classroom, but now we're switching to Canvas. So we've been learning that as well, and I've been creating some documents for that. So yeah, if anyone has any questions or anything, you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to help with that as well.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Valerie. And that's Valerie Fry Ramirez. They're speaking. You're from Oregon, so that's awesome that you have all these resources.
Yeah, I help connect industry into the classroom for different teachers. And so I also look up different resources and try to help with, as many transitioning things as possible. So yeah, so I have some documents and things I've created, and I'm happy to share that with anyone.
Cool. So she posted her email address in chat, and that's valerie@salemchamber.org. So for those of you who can't read the chat, so she's definitely reach out to her. Thank you for volunteering and being there to help everyone else out in that type of situation. And let's just specifically the transition from Teams to Zoom, or what were the primary categories that you already worked on?
I can actually do either because I've used both of them both this past year. So I can help with either one, but I created some documents on just like the menu on Zoom, versus the menu on Classroom, what the different capabilities are, what you can click, what they do, what you can, see participants, like all of that kind of stuff. So people have an idea of what that looks like, or you could use it for students as you're introducing them to the different platforms. So they know how to turn on and off their camera and their mic and different things like that. And then same with like putting in breakout rooms, up, modules in Canvas, that sort of thing. So I created some different documents for different things. But yeah, if you're interested or need help, feel free to reach out. I've also been scheduling some one-on-ones with people via either platform and walking them through that. So happy to do that as well.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you so much for being there.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right, Valerie. So that's great. That's why we're here. Is we're here to help each other out. So as one person finds a solution, then we can share it with everybody. I shared in the chat the drive with the folder on how to share forms. So people have been dropping forms in there, and I've been making them available so other people can use it. There's a process for that. As you know, sharing forms, you can't just share the form link. Otherwise, they're going to answer your questions and you're going to get dumped all their student data. so there's a way to copy it. So it's in the drive link that shows you how to do that. And if anybody has any forms that they've used, they want to share, please drop it in there and I'll just make it available. So this is something that I post every week and it's always open and available for anybody to jump into. So Charles asked a good question earlier. Out of the participants, how many are actually doing in-person teaching? So I guess that's more like a tally. I guess if you could just mention that you're teaching in person right now, just mention that in chat. We don't have to have a discussion on that, but it's just interesting to see how many are doing that right now. So Laith Morris said that she's teaching in an empty classroom, planning to do live cooking demos and teach students on skills and techniques and participate in discussions and digital worksheets. So would you like to, Laith, would you like to elaborate on that some more? Of how you're going to do that? I know you talked a little bit earlier about your situation, but.
Yeah, my plan is until I can, because I'm right now putting together a list of inventory of students, finding out what they already have available at home already. I put together a Google form that they turned into me today, giving me an update on what they have and what they don't have and what I do need to go get for them and provide for them so they can actually do virtual labs from home. But in the meantime, I'm planning on doing cooking demos at my front counter, showing them the different labs and the skills and techniques so they actually are learning with the visual aesthetic. And we'll complete digital worksheets that answers questions, and I'll have verbal discussions with them, asking them questions while I'm cooking, and they can ask me questions and go back and forth to keep them engaged.
Wow, that's a good plan. And that starts in 2 weeks, you're saying?
No, I'm already back. I started.
Oh, okay.
We started back Monday.
Monday. Okay, yeah. Okay, so someone else who's in the future, getting everyone all discombobulated. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else have something that they're dealing with that's very unique that you didn't expect when you came back to the classroom that you got fed from admin? Yeah. Okay. Come on, Sandra.
All right, so
Take it
I
away.
started. We've been in school for 5 days. All right, I started thinking I was Wonder Woman. I was letting the kids Zoom in, or I use Google Meet. I have 6 classes, up to 6 or 7 in each class are online. The rest are physical. I have 130 kids. Some classes are 30 kids in a class. I thought I was Wonder Woman. I was going to let them Google Meet in for my lecturing and my discussions and all this other stuff. I did it. It lasted 1 day. It lasted 1 day, letting them in every period, because we also had to wipe down the desks in between each period, wipe down the laptops in between each period. And like I said, I have 7 classes where we do the changes. That lasted 1 day. Then I tried to send my own curriculum to my online kids. So after I explained it in class, then after school on my own time, I was having to Google Meet with those kids and tell them, explain to them what the assignment was. So then now we just signed on for our online kids for KP. So I'm excited about that. So I don't have to do any more videos for them. I don't have to do any more. So I'm excited for that. But it's been 5 days. I feel like it's been a whole semester already.
5 days and condensed in one semester. Geez, it's.
And I haven't been told not to cook, so I'm going on with it. We cooked today. One of my classes cooked today, and they shared, we did everything. We did all the social distancing as we could, there weren't 4 in the kitchen. There were only 2 in the kitchens at a time. Masks, gloves, aprons, all the works. I made them go through the Serve Safe guidance and the Serve Safe takeout, because they're all Serve Safe certified for the ones that got in there today. But we're trying to be safe and all that good stuff without having to have somebody tell us to quit cooking.
That's
so
good.
That's where I'm at today.
Keep at it. So actually, just out of curiosity, how are your students' attitudes coming into the classroom?
They're excited. Oh man, we've been having for the last 5 days, we'll have, I probably started out with 30 kids online. Then they decided they didn't want to do that. So now within 5 days, they're in the classroom now. Luckily, they added those to our roster. So it's not like our rosters are being added to. We're just having more physical bodies in the classroom than what we expected. We thought with 30 kids, we thought maybe 18, 20 of them will show up physically and the rest will be at home. So you won't have to have the 30 kids, but they thought wrong, because these kids want to be in class.
Wow. So I guess that's a good expectation to break in that sense.
Yeah. We haven't had any, to my knowledge, our school has not had any cases, but we've had an elementary school with 4 cases. And then the next county over has had 40 cases.
Wow.
So we think it's just a matter of time before
it's. Yeah, because I understand that the next, according to the news, the next big areas that's going to get affected are the rural areas, because
that's us.
Because the lack of adhering to or feeling of invulnerability of where you're at, I guess is that
well, the first day, masks are not required at our school. They're recommended, but not required. I wear my mask anytime I'm around anybody. But the first day, the kids had their masks on. After they saw their friends didn't have their masks on, they started taking their masks off. So I probably don't have 2 in every class with a mask on.
Wow. So that's, that's going to change pretty soon once they put the school back into lockdown.
It is. And I told them, you guys are driving whether we stay here or not. I can only wipe the table down so many times, but if you come in without a mask on, that's, and then I had the one girl to say, did you wipe the tables down? And she walks in without a mask. I'm like, if you're really worried about it, put a mask on,
Yeah. But yeah, it's sad. I guess is the best way to put it.
The cleaning part is like another job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's one thing. Like when we first had our first meeting was like, how do we expect you to have the time to do all that on top of teaching? Because there just isn't physically enough time to do what you need to do and teach. The sanitation part of it.
Right.
So it is another.
They say, well, stop class a few minutes early to do it, and we're like, okay, so it's only a 50-minute class. It's like.
Tough enough already at 55.
Oh, and then the laptops. Oh my gosh, it takes 10 minutes for a kid to figure out, for the Wi-Fi to work well enough for 30 kids to be getting on the computers. It's just because I am training them to use the computers because I know we're going home.
Yeah, just pretty much plan for it.
Yeah, I know we're going home, so I'm planning, training them because the last 8 weeks of school, they all claimed we didn't know where we were supposed to go, so.
Yeah, so at least I see your hand up. I just want to bring back so out of the bunch, they said four of you are in person right now out of the group, so not a whole lot. A lot of people are still doing virtual. A lot of people are doing virtual till the end of December, so that's just the way things are. And we had Pennsylvania, it's mandatory to wear a mask, so that's I guess a state policy.
I wish.
I'm just surprised that Florida isn't, because Florida just had.
Yeah.
They're just doing I guess county by county, so until you guys get hit, you're in the clear.
I think our county's afraid a parent's going to complain about it.
Well, parents are going to complain when they all get sick, so.
Exactly.
So, and it's mandatory in Michigan. So Jean suggested, have the incoming students wipe down their own station. Okay.
I have that. I have spray bottles at because I have tables. We're 2 to a table, and I have little containers. There's the rags for the laptop, the rags for the tables, and the spray bottles for the tables.
Yeah.
So.
And even with that, you're still pressed for time.
Exactly.
Yep. And Maine, like you said earlier, they're mandatory to wear masks. So yeah, I mean the whole masking policy is so all over the place that nobody can settle on one idea, and that makes our jobs a lot more difficult because So, and Lisa, you had something to comment on earlier?
Yeah, 2 things. One, I was going to say that I'd already decided when my kids come back, we have a solution that only has to stay on for 2 minutes, but I guess it's pretty hardcore stuff. And then you wipe it off with a special rag. And so we're going to be using that. And the kids are going to be made to do that because they have to clean up after their labs anyway. I mean, that's part of the grades. So that's going to be part of their grade too. Are you cleaning up? Are you doing, but they'll have to completely wipe down all the table and chair and everything. And then they won't sit back in it. They'll line up in a special place to be excused. And that way it has time to sit and do its thing before the next class comes in. But I was also thinking about one of the things we got told this week is that they want us in the lab like immediately because they want the kids to have as much lab time as they can because probably we'll be going out and going virtual. So is anyone dealing with that, and how are you dealing with that? Because obviously I do my serve safe first. That's kind of like you pass that, then I'll let you in the lab.
Exactly.
And I make up little labs for those, but as far as give them a knife without any training on it or anything, no. Anyone else deal with that or been told that?
Reiterate your question. It's just for the group again.
No, I get addressed that. They want the same thing for us. So they want us to send out virtual information to home so that they can watch videos and read stuff and fill out worksheets or whatever over the computer so that when they show up, we can just quickly recap in the classroom and then go to work. And so since the class size has been cut in half, they basically cut the classes in half and send them every other day. I have more time because I have less kids. So I have more time with individual kids in the classroom to actually show them hands-on stuff. So we have to
I mean,
send
are
them.
the kids really doing the stuff at home?
Well, I don't know yet. They don't come till the 14th. So they didn't in March.
Yeah, I'm just
I had like 3 kids that participated, and the rest of them
Yeah.
just ghosted.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, well, who made that up? Because they obviously don't know that these kids are not going to do stuff at home.
We are going to, that is part of our grades. If they do not show up for the meetings or they do not do the work that we have given them for the day, they will be marked absent. And we do have to have visual confirmation that they're actually on. So they'll have to provide a background for us, but they'll be on. But we're only every other day too. So, and I agree. I think once you get into lab, that one-on-one is going to be really great to go in. And I'm hoping maybe ServSafe will go, manager's certification will go a lot faster. But where I'm at, that's probably very optimistic where I'm at. So,
yeah, accountability.
I want to know what cleaner she's using for 2 minutes. That's safe around the kids.
I don't know the name of it right now, but it is approved that the kids are able to use it. And
wow,
like I said,
ours is 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, and they looked around and apparently found something that was like 2 or 3 minutes, and that it would be fine. I don't remember right offhand what it's called, but I'll try to find out and let y'all know.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Yeah, I mean, there's products out there that I've seen where if they spray a surface down, it's good for like 6 months. It's like an antibacterial something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
that microban is claiming that. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I worked in a hospital, they used to use microban. I remember that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's tons of products out there that do that kind of stuff. So it's time consuming. That's all I can say is time consuming. So, but yeah, Mark, you bring up a good point. I mean, the whole entire aspect of why teachers do flip classrooms voluntarily, but now mandatory, is for the sheer fact that it gives you more time for that one-on-one FaceTime, because you're not instructing, you're just verifying and enhancing. So you're gonna see the fruits of that process. But the challenge is accountability, and building those accountability matrix will be the most important part of how you manage the flipped classroom. So there's a lot of strategies out there, which is like what Lisa was saying, like they're not qualified to be in the classroom until they've met these expectations. Like in KP Compass, we have a mastery system. So you say you're not allowed in the lab until you demonstrated a green level of mastery. So there's like different ways to address that, so that you'll say what your prerequisites are to come in. So if you don't meet that, then sorry, you're not doing the lab. The things that are fun. So make it so that that's the reward for doing the homework, for doing the work, and then so that they'll come in eager to do the cooking, to demonstrate that they know the knowledge and everything like that. So I think that'll be the biggest challenge to transition for flipped classroom. Takes a while to adapt to. I've known people who've done it for years and they're still getting into it. But now there's more resources out there that make it happen. So everyone's in the same boat now, rather than maybe 5% or 10% of the population that's doing flipped. So that's what I have to say about that. But it looks like Jean had anyway. If anyone has anything to chime about flip, I just want to mention that Jean posted a link to the Family Consumer Science COVID-19 response from Lead CS. So check it out. So I just want to point that out. So
I also posted on there, I don't know if anybody saw it or not or cares, but those knives I was showing you,
yes.
I didn't find a link, but I did check. Amazon has them for $8.95 for the set, and they are in stock.
Yeah, so plastic knives away, one way to get around it, hopefully. That'll be something that we could mention later, like in an email newsletter saying, try this or something like that. So Charles actually has a very interesting situation. He works at a Job Corps center, and he's been doing virtual for the past 4 months. So he didn't get a summer off, apparently. So how's your situation been for the past 4 months? If you're still around, Charles.
Oh, I'm still around, actually. Thanks, guys. Sorry, but I'm actually double dipping into meetings right now. I apologize.
Yeah, we all do that.
Yeah, but I mean, Job Corps is a year-long program, and you know, as of last March, we went on. We were ordered to go ahead and shelter in place, and pretty much the job corps all over the country were shut down. Students were sent home. Immediately after that, you know, we started developing with our own direction where we're going to go, and adopted actually Google Classroom, only to be followed up later on by the National Office of Job Corps releasing Google Suite information and fully adopting actually Google Classroom. So we've definitely had a jump start on regular schools as far as, you know, what we've done so far, but it doesn't mean we're not going still through the same kind of headaches everyone else is doing out there. One of our, you know, we equally, you know, we're required to have student attendance, you know, that's part of the program, you know, and to hold students kind of like, you know, accountable to kind of like what the original guidelines were that they agreed to. And I kind of reached out to Howard to find out more what he was doing with attendance. We set up a couple of parameters within Google Classroom that we have just a daily attendance built into an assignment that they have to go and answer on, so that shows for accountability. And we've also created like a tracking device. Like, you know, we've broken down percentage of completed assignments so that we know how much a student is engaging, you know, per week. We've been given the flexibility by having all assignments due on Friday, or let's say, I guess, Sunday, 11:59. You can use Google Classroom for that, for due dates and due times. But, you know, we also were a lot of instructors coming from not a huge experience, you know, on technology, and having to step into this new role because that's what the job demanded. What we do is we hold like live classes 3 days a week. Those live classes, you know, are just, we use the Meet application built into like a Google Classroom, which ties directly to it, and we're able to go ahead and you know, the students are able to share that as students in the classroom. Attendance for the live lessons, you know, is not mandatory, but what we do is we record the live lessons and we add them as an assignment. And then we have some, like, you know, qualifying events to ensure the student actually watched that assignment, either via like, you know, a quiz or an essay, or, you know, or a Q&A at the end. And they, you know, and that gets built in and gets recorded so that we know that they watched it, you know, before the week is out. Sounds like engagement's definitely a struggle, you know, for some people. It's a struggle for us as well too. You know, I'm not saying we're you know, batting out of the ballpark on students getting their assignments done and kind of like in doing that. What I have noticed is that in a lot of the classes that gave students a lot of engaging work, students tend to respond a lot more to that than classes that were a little lackluster, you know, and didn't really put actually the effort into developing that work and give students actually substantial work to work on. You know, and that just, you know, through months of going with this, that's just some of actually what we've seen working out for ourselves. But, you know, I think like a lot of programs out there, you know, we're not a primary school. We're not, you know, and we're not even, you know, a high school. You know, we're actually like, we're a voluntary program, and we're only as good to our students as they see the value in our program. You know, so I think I was jumping in this today to find out, you know, from peers out there, you know, what are people actually doing to spearhead actually student engagement, you know, and talk about maybe some best practices. You know, we've, you know, during our live lessons out there, we do staff demos, or we even upload actually videos, and, you know, like play the video, present our screen like what we're doing now in Zoom, and then, you know, stop the video and talk about it and have discussions with the students, you know, and those kind of things. And there's a lot of actually people, you know, and a lot of actually, you know, professional chefs definitely kind of like outweigh our production value as far as their resources. So like, you know, if we can leverage actually what they're putting out there and being able to put it in a way to go ahead and then have discussions about that. I think it helps a little bit because it gives actually recognition some of the students if they know some celebrity chefs out there in those cases. But you know, but hands down, you know, the virtual setting is no comparison to our tactile program. You know, and I think, you know, we're all hurting the same that way. Thanks.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing your perspective. You definitely have a unique angle on that. And, you know, I hope this meeting has been helpful for you. So I have one question for you. It's like, what was the thing that you gleaned the most from these classroom educators?
Here today?
Yeah, here today.
Well, I think people actually, you know, brought up actually some good points. You know, I shot Howard a note on the side, asked him about his attendance kind of component.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, you know, Mark mentioned earlier about like, you know, his working with a smaller group of students, you know, tactile environment, hands-on. You know, we've also mentioned that amongst our program and our instructors over here that that when we do go back, it's going to be a similar kind of like, you know, hybrid learning that he was discussing where, you know, you're going to be working with a smaller group, which gives you the ability to go ahead and really drive home some of the, you know, some of the stuff more efficiently than in your larger classrooms. But, you know, but we're still going to be stuck actually with the same kind of content where when students actually leave, you know, they're going to be responsible for going back to, you know, their prospective actually, you know, dormitories or homes, and they need to go in and complete like the virtual assignments. You know, I don't see, you know, I don't see virtual learning going away. I think you know, I think we're moving into like a new form of hybrid learning, you know, this way, and that's how it's going to be done until, you know, quote unquote, we return back to whatever normal is going to be again.
Yeah, that's a great observation because I think this was the eventuality that was kind of going to have a 10-year timetable, but now it's just kind of crammed into 1 year.
From the
Sorry.
we have to pick it up.
I don't think Veronica's actually meaning to say stuff. Are you, Veronica?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had nothing turned on. I'll try to figure out how to turn it off because I'm on the phone and usually I'm on the computer.
Okay, there should be a mute button on there, but I was just making sure that you wanted to say what you wanted to say. Yeah, so basically the future is now. I mean, you know, I've been in education technology for 20 years and I guess been prophesizing this in a way. No, not really prophesizing, but really like, you know, promoting it and saying that it's the future, you know, 10 years ago. But yeah, now we're all kind of slammed right into it all at once. You know, going from 0 to 100. Like taking off like a rocket ship. We're all trying to struggle to breathe and stay afloat and against this huge rocket ship that's pushing us into the stratosphere of technology. And you know, and we're hoping that we're gonna peek our heads out of the clouds and see a bright future. And I know it's gonna happen. So the struggles that we talked about today, you know, especially all the things that got dropped in our laps. Like even today, from what I heard from some of you, you know, we will prevail. And I think that, you know, the best part is like, you know, we coming together and other people sharing the ideas to get through this we'll become stronger through this and we won't and we'll make it. You know, I feel good about that. I feel good about the group of people. You know, we have a good number of people here. I know a lot of people who couldn't make it because they had some other meetings and things like that happening. So, you know, we're going to continue doing this and hopefully create something really amazing out of this. Especially the, you know, Bitmoji group. That was wonderful. You know, and last time we wanted to start a movement, but really about, you know, cooking for the community. But we're going to wait on that because we first have to settle down before we can even get to that point, and everything like that. So anybody else have any other stories or plans that they like to share? This has been a great session. An eye-opener for me, especially hearing what's going on in California. Geez, man, it's California. Yeah, Shirley, you're smiling there. You know, you're inwardly cringing probably at the same time. But yeah, but I can't. Well, we're gonna do this again in 2 weeks. Is Wednesdays a good day? Because I heard that Wednesdays are good because sometimes it's an off day for a lot of educators. So I got a lot of thumbs up. You know, and sometimes, and for another group, it's not because they're on every other day schedule. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do another Wednesday next time because because I can't wait to hear what the next 2 weeks is going to bring us as far as craziness is concerned, right? And all we can do is smile, right? I see your big smiles, Sherry. You know, Lisa, there we go. You know, Marie. You know, for those of you I could see, you know, good seeing your faces. But I do want to you know, say that, you know, we're going to be keeping a close eye on this. I'll send out an email from this session and try to summarize some of the ideas and put together the resources. And I'd like to, you know, thank Mike for really helming the Bitmoji group, but also for all the people who've volunteered to help out. Like, you know, it was Valerie who said that she, and again, her email is valerie@salemchamber.org, who's willing to help out with some technology adjustments as well. So, but anybody else have anything to say? Because I think you know, any other crazy things that have happened, things that you hope won't happen. Check out a new message here. It's because really, you know, you know, we all gotta keep our heads up straight, keep our big smiles up, and keep mustering forward because we are teachers and our students depend on us, right? Okay. So once again, this has been a great session, and again, like one of the cool things I learned in PD this past few months is that, you know, to give an applause sign language, you just wave your hands in the air like this next to your head. That's how you do an applause. Yay! Good. Yay! Applause. All right, it's great seeing y'all. And we'll see how the next 2 weeks is going to pan out for us. And feel free to reach out. Right. So if you want to unmute yourself and say goodbye, goodbye.
I
Bye,
might be
everybody.
talking to you later, Nye. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Oh, Christine, that's your name. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I love your name.
Bye,
thank you.
I just put a link in the chat for Google Drive for the different resources I created. So if that's helpful.
Okay, well,
Sorry, I was trying to upload everything as people were talking so that everyone would have access, but I wasn't quite fast enough. So.
Oh, sorry, Valerie. So what I'll do is I'll include that link in the newsletter I'll send out after this. So.
Oh, perfect. And then if people find it helpful, great. And if they think something else would be more helpful or anything, I'd love that feedback too. So.
Absolutely. The more resources out there, the better. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank
Hi,
you.
it's Veronica here with
Yes.
a question because I
yeah.
couldn't access part of the meeting. And so I wanted to know what the chat was, but the chat doesn't show up on the recordings, does it?
No, it doesn't, but I can actually post a
Okay.
link to the chat, which I haven't done before because I just never thought about it. Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
So
And
I'll
I know
include that.
I know you're usually good about putting the links and stuff in the document also. So
Yeah,
okay,
so
thank you.
I'll put that in the newsletter as well.
Okay, thank you. Have a good week. Bye now.
Thanks, you too. Bye. All right, so for those of you who have reached the end of this recording, thank you again for sitting through this 6th session of the teacher, not roundtable anymore, but teacher town hall. It's been an eye-opening experience for everyone to hear what's going on, and be sure to like, subscribe to this channel, I guess, and we'll be posting more of these meetings in the coming weeks and months. Thanks again. Have a good day.